ask him, is marriage something that he wants? Is it something that he can see in his future? Steps Wealthy Life, Steps Wealthy Life, hey, Steps Wealthy Life, Steps Wealthy Life, hey. What's going on, family? Welcome to my channel, Steps Wealthy Life. On this channel, we empower women to elevate their life through business building, beauty tips, and life advice. And fellas, you're definitely welcome too. So if you're not already a part of the Wealthy Club, the way you can become a part of the Wealthy Club is by smashing that subscribe button and subscribing today. And don't forget to turn on your post notifications so that you don't miss anything that we discuss. So today we're getting a little spicy. So I got my wine with me, and no, this is definitely not sponsored. I just love 19 Crimes. As you can see, we have Cali Red. So get your wine glass, because ladies, we're going to be discussing how to get your man to marry you. Maybe you've been with him for a long time now, or maybe you just met and it's in the beginning stages, but you want to know how to get that man to marry you because you're ready to take it to the next level. So if this is something you're interested in, keep watching. Okay, ladies, we're going to get right into the keys on how to get your man to marry you. Make sure you're taking notes, because as long as you follow these steps carefully and you listen and follow these directions, you will get him to marry you within a 6-month time span to 2 years. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is make sure that you are marriage material. We can't want a man to marry us if you're not marriage material. So how do we make sure we're marriage material? You need to make sure that the first thing you have is respect for yourself. You need to be a woman that has self-respect, and also a woman that loves herself. So when you have self-love and self-respect, those things go hand in hand. And how does that look? It looks like you're taking care of yourself, right? Your hygiene, you're dressing nicely, your hair is done, right? Your nails maybe, or you're just looking clean. Everything doesn't need to be glammed up, right? Just nice and a nice clean look. You also want to make sure when you're outside, you're carrying yourself the right way. You're not being loud and raunchy in the street, screaming. Everybody knows you're here because they can hear you from a mile away, using profanity, all of that. A man doesn't really want to see his woman outside wilding out in the streets like that, or even at home. You know, make sure that you don't have anyone talking to you any type of way. So men already know when they approach you, they have to come correct. They can't call you out of your name. Never allow any man to call you out of your name. Now, I'm not saying be arrogant, but definitely, check when it's something that is not respecting you. Because not only are you respecting yourself, when you have self-respect, you're going to turn and respect that person. So a man wants to be respected as well. He doesn't want a woman that's going to be calling him out of his name as well, or putting her hands on him or anything like that, because that is definitely a deal breaker for a man to where he will not marry you. The next thing you want to make sure you have is confidence in yourself. You want to walk around with your head held high. Like I said, you do not need to be all glamorous all the time, but keep yourself looking nice and clean. When you have that confidence, it just radiates and shows. Whenever you're in your element, right, and you're doing something you're good at, you want to shine bright in those areas. Now, confidence is also knowing your weaknesses. So when you're not so good at something, you want to be able to have the confidence to say, babe, I'm not really good at this. Maybe I'm new to this. Can you teach me how to do this? A man is so happy to teach you how to do something. And that does show your confidence, that you can also identify your weaknesses. Also, confidence is displayed when you're around his family and around his friends. Definitely when you're around his friends, because a man wants to see that you're not jealous of his friends. You know, you're open to talking to his friends and getting to know his friends as well. And with his family, he wants to see that you're engaging with his family too. And then when you're outside, if there's women in the vicinity, you don't want to act like, you know, you're insecure or, you know, you're feeling different when another woman comes around. You want to show that you're confident because you know you are the sugar honey iced tea, right? But like I said, once again, not arrogance, but having confidence. Another step, another key to getting that man to marry you, which is also part of you being marriage material, is being a goal-oriented person. So a man wants to know that the woman that he is with or going to marry has goals. You want to be working towards something, showing him that, you know, you have dreams as well. When he talks about his goals, you know, you also want to show that you're interested in his goals. So you have your own goals and you're also interested in want a man that has goals too. So when he has goals, you want to discuss it in a way that where your goals and his goals can live together in the same world, right? So making sure you have goals and showing interest in his goals. Now, what are ways we can show interest in his goals? Well, when me and my husband, when we were dating, and he, at the time, he wanted to have a podcast. So when it was his birthday, I went ahead and bought him, you know, like a mini mic for his podcast. That's showing ways that you're interested in their goals as well. Men love that. And that would definitely be a key to getting that man to marry you. Another thing that you want to make sure is that you're showing your nurturing side and your caring side. A man wants to know that, you know, if there's someone he's going to marry, that he's with a nurturing woman, because you possibly will have kids later if you don't already have kids. And, you know, he wants to see, okay, this woman is someone that I know she'll be able to take care of our family, be there for our family, and feel confident. He wants to feel confident in that. Okay, family, if you're enjoying this video and you're getting a lot of value from it, go ahead and hit that like for me. Smash that subscribe button, turn your post notifications on, and make sure you stay tuned, because I'm going to give you the last 2 keys to make sure that man marries you. Keep watching. Okay, so let's get right into it. The last 2 keys to make sure he marries you. This is something I see all the time that us ladies forget to do. You have to ask that man, listen, do you want to get married? Is marriage something that you can see in your future? And we're not even asking at this point to you or to anyone. It's just in general. You want to know if marriage is something that he can see in his future in general, right? We want to ask this because we want to make sure that we're with a man that at least can vision marriage in his future. So let's say he says, no, I don't see marriage at all for me. I never want to get married. That's nothing I want to do. My advice to you right now is you need to start figuring out what you're going to do and possibly moving on to someone else that does see marriage in their future. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot change a man's mind. If he says he doesn't want to get married, believe him. Believe him. Okay? I see it too many times. Women, they stick around because they think they can change a man's mind. Sweetheart, you will find yourself waiting years and years and years.
2,000 years later.
Years and years and years and years pass by and still no ring, still no talk of marriage. And then he's going to tell you, but baby, I told you I never wanted to get married. And then you're going to be mad. But guess what? You can't be mad at that point because he already told you and you didn't believe him. You can't change him. Okay? So if he tells you, no, I don't see marriage in my future, that's nothing I want to do. And if that's something that you want to do, now at this point, you need to be looking for someone that's compatible in that way for you, that wants the same things that you want, such as marriage. Now let's say you have a man who says, yes, I do see marriage in my future and I would love to get married someday. Now that's the man that you can work with. That's somebody that you know, okay, we can work together. We put in takes time and energy and work, to get to that point, but I know we can get there together and one day get married. Now let's say you have someone that's like, I never really thought about marriage. It's not really something that I care for that like that. But if I find the right one to marry, then yeah, I would marry that person. That's someone that you can also work with, because it's not that he's completely against marriage. Maybe growing up, marriage is not really something that he saw. Maybe he didn't really think about it. Like, it's just different factors that play into it. But he knows that if he finds the right one, he would go ahead and get married to that person. So now both of you can work together with that. The next thing that you want to make sure that you do, now that we found out, okay, he can see marriage in his future, or, he's willing to get married. Now we let a little bit of time go by, but not too much time. You want to make sure you express to him that you want to one day get married to him, right? And this is if this is something that you want with him. If you realize there's something that you want to do with him, and you know that you're marriage material, he's marriage material, and you already discussed, yeah, marriage is something you want to do. Now you want to say, listen, I would like for us to get married one day. We've been dating for some time now, and marriage is something that's very important to me, and I really would like to have this with you. And you want to let him know also the time frame. Let him know. You can say, I would like to get married with you, and maybe within another year or two, because we've already been dating for some time. The reason you have to make this clear that you want to get married to him and you want to set the time frame is because you don't want to find yourself, once again, years passing you by. Your good years are passing you by, and he's making excuse after excuse after excuse. Excuses lead to more excuses, and then eventually you won't get married. So you want to make sure that you're very clear about that you want to get married, and around the time frame that you want to get married with him. You have to set that in stone, okay? Now, don't feel like you're setting an ultimatum. You're not setting an ultimatum. It may feel like that, but you know what? You do have to show that you have those standards, and you want him to meet you there, meet you halfway. You meet him and he meets you, and you both come up with something together. But marriage has to be the goal that happens within a decent time frame, because that is what you want. You don't want to give up your good years. And what I'm going to also let you know, make sure you do not do all the marriage things for a man before actually getting married. What do they say? That's an old saying. They say, why should he buy the cow if he's getting the milk for free? Right? He's not going to marry you if you're doing everything that a wife does for him. And why should he marry you? You're already doing everything, right? So maybe you haven't moved in together yet. So don't move in with him, especially if he's telling you that marriage is something that he's not really looking for and you're trying to change his mind. He's not going to change his mind. Now, let's say he's already stated, you agreed, marriage is something that you both want and you see it with each other, and then you move in. Okay, now you're moving in. You moved in before you got married. Me and my husband actually moved in before we got married, but we already discussed with each other that marriage is something that we are going to do, right? But, even though you're living together, it's still like certain things. You don't need to be doing everything that a wife would be doing, just saving some of that for the wifey role so that you can make sure he wifes you and put some ring on it. Okay, ladies? So last thing I'm going to leave you with, just know you're not there to force anyone to marry you. You're not there to trick anyone into marrying you. That man has to want to marry you, and he has to want to see marriage in his future with you. And make sure you're not doing things, right? Acting a certain way, being nurturing, cooking, cleaning, just to get him to marry you. Because it's only a certain amount of time you can keep that up. You don't want to do that and then get married to him, and then all of a sudden 6 months later, after you get married, you're not doing any of those things anymore. Okay, so you want to always in that time that you're getting him to marry you and you're doing all the right things, you want to still make sure that you're being your authentic self. Just be you, because you want him to marry you for you at the end of the day. Okay, ladies, this is a big key that we can't forget. You need to come into that relationship or already be in that relationship with your own bag. What's your bag? Your bag is your own money. A man wants to know that the woman he's marrying can be self-sufficient, whether she's with him or without him. She wants to know that you don't need him, that you want him, right? You're not depending on his resources only. He wants to know that you can also bring your resource to the table along with his. Now, not all the time, but a lot of times when the man is the only one in the relationship with money, he tends to take control or want to take control. And at that point, you're kind of stuck because he is the only one that's providing or having the bag in the relationship. So make sure you have your own bag, because that also adds to your confidence as a woman. So ladies and gentlemen, fellas, if you have any questions, go ahead in the comment box below. Drop your questions. I'll be right there to answer them. And like I said, possibly make a video out of it and answer your questions in the next video. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had fun with this chat with you on how to get your man to marry you. And when it works out and it's successful, please let me know. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.